One of the proposals made to CARICOM heads of government during their two-day intersessional meeting here was the need for a more unified approach in establishing missions abroad. Outgoing chairman of CARICOM, Trinidad Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, said in many nations there is a lack of Caribbean embassies. She suggested that instead of each Caribbean territory setting up its own mission, there should be a CARICOM desk.
Where we have missions, or any of the CARICOM nations have missions, we can have a CARICOM desk, so the entire region can be represented. And in that way, we can save costs. We are all small nations. Why does every single one of us have to set up an embassy in every part of the world? And so we can partner in that regard. We can save costs, at the same time promoting our own countries, whilst promoting our region as a whole.
Dr. Gonsalves says another important matter which was discussed was that of human resource development, presented by Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Denzil Douglas.
Coincidentally, this month is celebrating 25 years as a parliamentarian, and who is into his fourth consecutive term as Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we acknowledge his accomplishments. He's done tremendous work in the area of health, and now he's embarking in an aggressive way on further development in the area of human resources. The heads mandated the establishment of a Commission on Human Resource Development to shape a regional, educational, and human resource development strategy up to 2030. The strategy would form the basis for converged action by member states and create a framework for the CARICOM education agenda.
Meanwhile, the CARICOM chair explains that a centerpiece of their discussion focused on the economic situation facing member states and the fashioning of a framework for regional growth and development. Dr. Gonsalves says the discussion on this matter was led by Barbadian Prime Minister Frondell Stewart.
We welcome the preliminary report from the CARICOM Commission on the economy established last September to advise on a sustainable growth strategy for the community. We accepted the report as a work in progress, which would be refined and supplemented with an implementation timetable for consideration by member states at our July meeting in Antigua and Barbuda. The preliminary report outlined the scope of the Commission's work program and specific initiatives that could comprise the basis for both joint and or country-specific immediate actions in respect of financial sustainability, including debt management, private sector stimulation and the business regulatory environment, transitioning to sustainable growth, resource mobilization. Again, all these are areas which various governments have been working upon, but we're looking at what each other has been doing, looking at best practices, and more importantly, coordinating our work in a more efficacious way.
Meanwhile, the heads of government of the community are expected to engage business leaders as part of the overall effort to improve the economic situation of the region. Prime Minister Gonsalves says the heads of government have agreed to have a high-level consultation with the captains of industry and commerce at their regular meeting in July. Meanwhile, on the subject of marijuana, Dr. Gonsalves says discussion was held in relation to its medicinal use and the possibility of decriminalizing small quantities for recreational and religious purposes. Prime Minister Gonsalves says that their discussions explore the economic benefits that can be derived from marijuana cultivation in a very structured way.
Raised regarding the potential public and mental health aspects of the use. The conference recognized the need for careful in-depth research of the various implications of the measures which are within the contemplation of the heads, and mandated the establishment of a regional commission to address the issues identified and others which are deemed relevant in order to provide clear guidance to the conference with regard to the decisions to be taken. The Commission is expected to report to the regular meeting of the conference in July. Through this particular modality, we are taking, obviously, more than baby steps. We want the issue to be addressed in a serious, mature manner.
Additionally, the Prime Minister says the Regional Reparations Committee prepared and put forward a 10-point draft regional strategic and operational plan, which they will consider.
This is called the Caribbean Reparatory Justice Program, and this was accepted by the heads of government as a basis for further action. Among the major elements elaborated in the plan were those related to the request for a full apology from the governments of Europe involved in the transatlantic slave trade, establishment of Caribbean cultural institutions, the Indigenous Peoples Development Program, technology transfer, an educational program particularly to address illiteracy and debt cancellation. The action plan is to be discussed in further detail by the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on Reparations, chaired by the Prime Minister of Barbados. The heads also expressed support for the convening of a conference between Caribbean and European leaders, which would provide an opportunity for in-depth discussions on reparatory justice.
Welcome back. This country is said to have benefited from over $2 million in assistance from the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago in relief supplies following the December 2013 trough system. Yesterday saw the symbolic handing over of pipes to the Central Water and Sewerage Authority by Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves says he is grateful for the support given by Trinidad and Tobago, which he says has helped to restore the country.
First shipment of items to St. Vincent and the Grenadines is valued at $1.3 million. The second shipment had a lot of containers with food, but also with household items and building material, valued at $1.1 million. And the final support initiative was to send materials for the repairs to our water system valued at $150,000.
Prime Minister Gonsalves thanked the Trinidadian Prime Minister for coming to the aid of SVG and says more assistance will be pledged by the Twin Island Republic towards the rehabilitation program.
She has indicated to us that she's prepared to assist further with, in fact, one of the first things when she met me, she said, I haven't received any documents in relation to any project, specific project. And I told her that we're waiting on the engineers and she will get something from us pretty soon. I want to express on behalf of the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines our profound thanks to the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago, and especially to my dear sister, Kamla.
And as she leaves the seat of chairman of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar says she believes the chairmanship is in good hands. Persad-Bissessar ushered words of praise to the incoming chair, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves, as she commended his hospitality in hosting the 25th intersessional meeting of CARICOM heads over the last 2 days. The Trinidadian Prime Minister also thanked the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for making her feel at home.
As you honor us with your very kind words, I want to also say to you, I feel very comforted in handing over chair of the CARICOM to your good self. Your conduct and your hosting of these meetings, the hospitality of the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we thank you very much for that. And we know that with your competence, we will continue to work to take the CARICOM forward for all the people of the region.
The Primary School Performing Arts Festival came to a close yesterday, with the Turmo Primary School and Spring Village Methodist emerging ahead of their competitors. The closing ceremony was held at the Peace Memorial Hall. Kristin John-Deane has more in this report.
Joanne Hathaway of the Spring Village Methodist and Annie Dyer of the Torma Primary were crowned the Prince and Princess of the Primary School Performing Arts Festival, PRISPAF, hosted by the Ministry of Culture and the Professional Secretarial and Consultancy Services, Inc. Dyer's winning piece was a dance while Hathaway wooed the crowd with his vocals.
And I say no hesitation. Pull it up. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming to you.
Most promising male, junior and senior performers came from the South Rivers Methodist School and the Clear Valley Primary respectively. The Calder Primary School and the Brighton Primary took the most promising female, junior and senior award. The New Prospect Primary School in Simon was awarded Most Discipline, while Best Prepared School went to the Georgetown Primary and Best Program went to the Lomans Leeward Anglican. The Richland Park Melody Makers copped Best Instrumental Band and the Best Male and Female Vocalist awards were captured by the Caden and Malco Primary Schools respectively. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Luke Browne, says he is of the belief that the performing arts in SVG is going to go a very long way, and what he has seen over the final 2 days of the festival is a culmination of an extraordinary effort and lots of talent in schools across the country.
When I heard what the organizers attempted to do in these 2 days, I wondered if it were possible. But they have nonetheless shown that it could be done. So I know that some children and some groups would be identified for outstanding performances, but I want everyone to know, including those who didn't come to the Peace Memorial Hall over the past 2 days, that you are all winners and that you all have talent that could be harnessed.
The Primary Schools Performing Arts Festival is in its 10th year. Kristin John-Deane reporting for SVG-TV News.
The Singing with the Stars karaoke competition is back. The opening of Singing with the Stars Karaoke Island Tour was launched with a special edition at the Chili Playing Field last Saturday, March 8th. The organizer of the event, Georgietta Nanturn, said this year the competition, which was launched last Sunday at the Chili Playing Field, will be taken to communities on the windward and leeward sides of the island, including Beckway. The first event will kick off tomorrow night at Japlum. The winner of the competition is expected to pocket $2,000 in cash, second place receiving $500, and third place a dinner for two. Persons will be expected to come out in their numbers to experience a bigger and better event this year as the winner takes all. Last year's winner was Novitian Nanturn. The episodes of the competition are broadcast on SVG-TV on Saturdays from 8:25 p.m.